Now, they say legends are built on the back of empires, but empires, well, they're nothing if not for legends. That's the story of Lewis Hamilton and Mercedes, the most successful partnerships in Formula One history. For over a decade, Lewis Hamilton was the face of Mercedes. He was the symbol of the silver dominance, shattering records with every race and shaping Formula One history one race at a time. But like all good things that must come to an end, this too did over the weekend in Abu Dhabi. It was Lewis Hamilton's last race with Mercedes, and like every dramatic farewell story that we know, it had a bittersweet start. During qualifying, he collected a bollard left by a Haas, ruining his chances of making it out of Q1 on his final run. He started the grid, in fact, on the 16th position. And after that, it's all about trying to catch up. He drove from 16th to finish in 4th place, even surpassing his teammate George Russell on the last lap. Like Mercedes team principal Toto Wolff said, it was the drive of a world champion. After that, it was time for goodbyes, doing donuts for the last time in a Mercedes car, hugging the team in the garage, and an emotional moment with Toto Wolff himself. Lewis Hamilton did it all, but the moment that really caught everyone's eye was this one, him kneeling by the car that gave him his career.
I'm proud of every race, every pole position, every win we've had together, every championship. So when I knelt next to it, I was just giving thanks. Firstly, thanking my own spirit for continuing to push, thanking everyone that powered and built that car. I'm proud of everyone.
In 2013, when Lewis Hamilton announced his departure from McLaren to join a struggling Mercedes back then, it was met with some raised eyebrows. Why would you leave a team steeped in history and success, that too for Mercedes, whose lone victory at that time felt more like a fluke than a foundation for more to come? But Hamilton clearly saw more. It was about taking the leap of faith, he had said back then. The Hamilton-Mercedes era began with the turbo hybrid regulations in 2014. Once that first engine roared to life, there was really no looking back. Mercedes had a technological edge that very few really could match. And Lewis Hamilton made it better with his relentless precision, raw speed, and a mental fortitude that left other drivers playing catch-up. The numbers, in fact, will tell you the story. 6 world championships, 153 podiums, 84 wins, 78 pole positions. Those are some unimaginable numbers right there. Of course, but Lewis's impact on Mercedes was more than just what statistics will tell you. Behind the scenes, he was a mentor, advocating for diversity and acting like the team's moral compass. The Black Lives Matter protest of 2020 made him a champion beyond the track. Mercedes followed his lead, painting their cars black, a bold statement in a sport that is often accused of being disconnected from the broader social issues, a sport living in its own cocoon. But no partnership is perfect. There were the ups, but of course there were a few downs too. After a controversial finish to the 2021 season in Abu Dhabi and being denied the elusive 8th championship, Hamilton came back in 2022, raring to have a go at it again. But the regulations had changed, and both he and Mercedes struggled in this new era. Hamilton was no longer leading the pack. It is during this time that he mentioned winning isn't everything. For a driver whose career was defined by victories, those words were indeed revealing. He could not be one with the car, and his teammate George Russell seemed ahead of him. A few races did show us glimpses of that old Hamilton that we know, catching up from the back of the grid, but that wasn't enough for a man chasing an 8th title. So at 39, Hamilton has set his eyes on something Mercedes could not possibly give him: a fresh start. The whispers began after the end of 2023 season. Ferrari's championship drought continued. Meanwhile, Hamilton's frustration with Mercedes was for all to see. That's when Maranello made him an offer he clearly could not refuse. And the glint of that possible 8th title What more do you need? Lewis Hamilton had once dismissed the idea of switching, but guess the allure of Ferrari was just too irresistible. By February 2024, it was a done deal. Lewis would don the red suit in 2025. The news sent shockwaves through the F1 world.
We've all gotten used to seeing him in Mercedes black and silver, and it is going to be very strange to see him in red. I think, but I'm excited. But he's taking on the challenge of racing for the most high-profile, high-pressure team in Formula One history, and taking on that challenge at this stage and age of his life and career. Massive respect to him for that. Nobody expected it. Certainly Mercedes didn't expect it. I don't think anyone expected it.
Right, Mercedes too did not take it too well. There were some disagreements and tensions behind the scenes post this, but Toto's words this weekend showed that it was possibly all behind them.
He merits an 8th championship, but obviously the team, the drivers, the brand, that is the main priority. If we can't win, we will cheer for him.
Even as Hamilton steps away, he will still be Mercedes' greatest driver. In many ways, Lewis Hamilton is Mercedes. The factory in Brackley, the engineers in Stuttgart, the thousands working in the garage, they're all a part of his story, just as he is a part of theirs. That will never change. But at the age of nearing 40, Hamilton's story at Ferrari will be one of extremes. If he wins, it will elevate him to a pantheon reserved for sporting immortals. The only driver to conquer with 3 of Formula One's legacy teams. Now, if he fails, it won't diminish his legacy entirely, but will leave many questions unanswered, like what if he hadn't left Mercedes just then? But one thing is certain, the sight of Hamilton in a Ferrari red will be surreal, as it will be thrilling. It is the ultimate challenge that has broken many before him, but Lewis Hamilton is no stranger to gambles. After all, his first one led him to 6 world championships.